Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. We are assuming we have a lot of Alberta staff joining us today. We're going to hopefully get to know who's out there in just a moment. And we'll do some introductions in here in just a moment as well. But before we begin, I'd like to just take a moment to acknowledge that I'm presenting from Calgary, which is Treaty 7 territory, the Indigenous homelands of the Blackfoot, the Piikani, the Kainai, Tsuut'ina, Stoney Nakoda are here, as well as Métis. But really just taking these moments to remember that we were not here first, and to just be thankful for being able to be here on these lands. With that, you are here to learn about Microsoft Copilot and Microsoft 365. Like I mentioned, I'm presenting from Calgary. My name is Michelle Armstrong, and hooray, Blue Jays. I'm the director of events at Logix Academy. We get to work with teachers, students, staff like you on all things technology, and today's topic is Microsoft. And we couldn't do the work we do at Logix if it weren't for folks like Cami Cannikins, who come and do some consulting with us. But Cami, why don't you do an introduction of yourself?
All righty. Well, I am from Treaty 4 and 7 territory, right on the border, just in Medicine Hat. And so part of our school district, actually our school district is in 3 treaty areas. We also have Treaty 6. I'm in Prairie Rose Public Schools. I do lots of district coaching with technology and literacy and all sorts of things. And then I also love to talk about Microsoft and all sorts of techie things with Logix as one of their facilitators.
Love it. And I love learning new stuff. You always teach me new things. So I'm stoked to be able to learn from you. So as I mentioned, today we are brought to you thanks to funding from Microsoft. This funding is on behalf of Microsoft to help build AI skilling. Cami is going to give us some time later to fill out this survey, this form. I'm going to post it in the chat. This survey, it's a quick form. It's going to get you a certificate, but we cannot continue to do our work fully funded by Microsoft unless we show Microsoft, hey, we actually have people learning things about AI. So it's going to be a super short form. You just have to answer a question. What's one thing you learned? And then you get a certificate. We get some funding, and everybody's happy. So we're going to talk about this in a second. And at the end, we'll give you time. But with that, thank you, Microsoft. Thank you, Cami. Thank you, all of you who are with us. Why don't we get rolling, Cami?
All right. So today we are going to do lots of Microsoft things that we hope will be interesting and helpful for you as your role in an educational workspace, whether you might be an education assistant, maybe you are more of an office or librarian type, and we're hoping that we're going to give skills and ideas that will be beneficial for everybody. So we are going to dive into Microsoft Copilot. We're going to talk a little bit about AI in general, look at some prompting tips, and have some fun prompting some images. And then we're going to look at how Copilot is now available inside of PowerPoint and Microsoft Word. That's brand new. And so we're going to go, once we get into there, we're going to just go down this slide of working with digital skills. We're going to do some digital art today. And we're going to have fun because we're creating something fun. But at the same time, we are also going to be building up digital skills. So whether you're, again, a librarian, or you're an EA who works in a class with students, or whether you are the type who's creating things on your computer all day because you're in the office, you will learn so many skills with AI and then inside of PowerPoint and how those all fit together. If we have time at the end, Michelle, I'm hoping we can look at Reading Coach, which is an AI accelerator. And then at the end, we have lots of ways that you can learn more about Microsoft and more about Microsoft AI in the event that you need to continue doing some learning over the next weeks.
Amazing. Okay, looks great. Excited to learn more. But before we do, I want to learn a little bit more about you guys out there. Let us know in the chat. Where are you joining us from, and what's your role in the school? We know there are a bunch of you from Lethbridge, for sure. But are there others from beyond Lethbridge? Can you let us know in the chat? Where are you joining us from, and what's your role in the district?
Ooh, Michelle, did you know that I'm a University of Lethbridge graduate?
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Amazing. And my daughter's currently going to University of Lethbridge. Yay, Lethbridge. Hello, Greg. If you want to let us know where you're joining us from, Greg, that would be amazing. And the rest of you, don't be shy. Be like Greg. Say hello. Let us know where you're from. Okay, Cami, let's put these guys to work. I think you might have a few more questions for them as well. Yeah, representing Lethbridge. All right, Cami.
Okay, so why don't you go to one more slide there? I think if we go to the next one, is that a question? Another question? We got Strathmore. I just want to see where everyone's from.
Yep.
All sorts of places. Oh, McGrath's in the house. All right.
We've got a group of 5 EAs in Brentwood Elementary. Welcome from Strathmore. Watching from McGrath, Alberta. There's a group of us. Whoop, whoop. From junior and senior high McGrath. Hey, Michelle, Red Deer. Great name, Michelle. Just saying.
Ooh, Michelle and I were just in Red Deer watching game. What was that? Game 5? Game 4?
Yep.
What did the Jays won, so that was fun getting to watch them together. Okay, so Michelle, let's go one more slide, and I think what we'll do is we'll run the deck here, and then I'll pop over when we're ready to do some live.
Absolutely, and I think you might even have controls on the slides too.
I do for sure. Awesome. That's right. So I can stop bothering you about that. So let's start off by going to copilot.microsoft.com. And I wonder if, where are we? Is there another slide that also has no? Okay, so copilot.microsoft.com. So let's pop up here.
Or you need to change. I can change over.
Yeah. Can you change over? I forgot to end the one.
That is all good. I can do this while we're switching over to Cami's screen. So this is a hands-on workshop. We're going to want you following along. So jump into a new tab. You're going to go to copilot.microsoft.com. And you know what? While we're kind of figuring things out here, why don't you also let us know, have you already used Copilot? Maybe give us a sense of like how comfortable you are with AI in general. Maybe let's just make it easy. Have you used Copilot? So just a yes or no, and then give us a number between 1 and 5 being your comfort level with Copilot. So a 1 is like, I'm still kind of afraid of AI. Or, up to a 5 if you're like, oh yeah, I use AI every day. So let us know if you're familiar with Copilot, and from 1 to 5, your comfort level with AI. We've got a 1. Oh, these are great, especially those that are brand new, a little bit afraid of AI. Cami is going to help you answer any questions you have, and hopefully you'll be more comfortable after this. So this is great. Okay, Cami, I am going to go over to your screen. And I believe you have Copilot loaded. Excellent.
I do, but you know what? I also I had another link there that I think will get us to another space that is even going to be more helpful for us. And so if you just go to Microsoft, if you type Microsoft 365, and then the very first one where it says like Microsoft 365 login, that is the one where we really want to be. And maybe we can even pop that in the chat there, Michelle.
Yes. Okay. So we do. So Cami, something to keep in mind, we've got a bunch of groups together. So a lot of you probably don't have access to the chat. So have no fear. Just watch what Cami's doing there. If we need to show you something again, just let us know. But right now, you're just getting yourself to Copilot. There's a couple of different ways to get there straight from just the M365 landing
I'll show
page.
you. I'd like to show you the difference there, Michelle, or tell us what the difference is. So if we just go to Copilot, which was what the link on the screen is, if we just go to Copilot, we get like this, it's just Copilot. It's straight up Copilot. We get just a real Copilot kind of space on its own. If we go to Microsoft 365.copilot, this is the page that you get inside of your Microsoft work environment. So when you log on your school computer, whether you have a Chromebook or a Windows machine, this will be the page that you get. And it used to have like all the apps. It used to have like Outlook and Word and all the ones that you could click on. And now they've moved it around a little bit, and the apps are down here on the apps page. And so if you'll notice, if we're just on the Copilot page over here, we don't have that apps button like we do. So that is why we might have you go to Microsoft 365 Copilot, because we are going to absolutely get into those apps.
Perfect. Cami, you know what? I'm going to even slow us down a little bit, only because I'm following along and realized I wasn't even signed in. So some of you out there might not be signed in yet. So Cami, do you want to just sign out? And I believe, Cami, if you just go to office.com, www.office.com is where it took me.
Right.
So if everyone out there, jump into a new tab, www.office.com. Then take a moment to sign in. Once you've signed in, then you're going to see the screen that Cami has up for us right now. Again, if there's any issues, don't hesitate to let us know in the chat. And keep in mind, you can pause this at any point. That chat will be there. It'll catch up once you press play again. So don't hesitate to press pause. First thing, get yourself into Copilot through the Office landing page so that we all know we're looking at the same thing.
And you're right, Michelle. So initially I wasn't logged in either. And so that's why we just saw the Copilot chat. And then once you log in, you'll likely get the MS365 Copilot.
And let me just check on my side. And yes, Cami, I see what you see. And full transparency, don't tell anyone. I'm a Google girl. And so I actually haven't used Copilot much. So Cami, this is going to be great for me to explore. And I'll be asking questions authentically with probably needing help. So, all right. Gasp. David Harmon. All right. Glad that you're here, David. All right, Cami, let's go back. We're going to assume that everybody out there, you have a page that looks just like Cami's. I've got that here as well. What do we do next?
Okay, so we're going to.
You want to go back to the screen share?
Yeah,
I got you. Oh, here we go.
There it is. Okay, I was on the wrong one. Okay, so Copilot. We are going to help Michelle and some of you learn about Copilot. So it would be helpful in the chat. If you do use AI tools, what are you most familiar with? Do you use Copilot? A lot of you said your ones and twos. Let us know if you use ChatGPT. I think that's where lots of us have started, or lots of us kind of take our first foray into AI in ChatGPT. And so if you have used ChatGPT, that's helpful as well. If that's your number one. So Copilot, ChatGPT, and actually, Michelle, did you know that Copilot is built on ChatGPT? So
I did know that.
Is what we call ChatGPT is what we call a large language model. It's the thing that has trained itself, the AI tool that's trained itself from information all over the internet. And then Microsoft has built Copilot on top of that. Other large language models that you might have heard about would be Google's Gemini. That's a separate one. Or you might have heard of Claude. That's a separate one. And they all do similar things. Today, we're going to focus on Copilot. And there's so many ways that we can use Copilot in education. One of my most exciting ways is to personalize learning, to give feedback. We know as our class sizes are growing, we've got more and more kids. Knowing that we can personalize learning for our students without that taking hours and hours on our behalf, such as changing reading levels, all sorts of things. I'm really loving it for brainstorming when I get stuck. Sometimes I don't even use the ideas that AI gives me, but it's like, oh, that's an idea, and it's kind of like this, and then I can go. We can do some lesson planning. We can do feedback. Gives us quick answers. I'm really loving it for image generation, so we can have really
Oh,
specific
so cool.
images,
Yep.
summaries of all sorts of things, whether it's your office documents. Lots of people are using Copilot to, summarize the notes from the latest admin meeting, or to look at this policy and ask for the three main points, or does this policy say this, right? So we can summarize. Likewise, we could summarize student notes. So many ways to use Copilot.
Yeah,
And so, yep.
before we move on though, Cami. So yes, we're going to be showing all sorts of ways to use AI. A lot of people in the chat have been saying that they're using ChatGPT and Copilot, but I would like to just talk a little bit about why we might not want to be using ChatGPT. So this important note for those of you using ChatGPT. And this is where guys like David Harmon, you might be able to correct me if I do, if I'm wrong about this. But as far as my understanding is, ChatGPT is kind of out there in the ether, and your data that's going into ChatGPT is training the model like for the world. That being said, Copilot, if you're using your school district email, Copilot is kind of like a walled garden where your information, your data stays within your district's Copilot, whereas ChatGPT is just out in the ether. Cami, am I correct as far as your understanding?
Yes, you are. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I had a note to myself to add a slide that talked about that and showed how and I'm just realizing right now that I didn't go back and add that.
Nope. Oh, great.
So on the screen here, we can see two different ways that we can access Copilot. And one is kind of, we're in the main Copilot space where we have all the tools. And then Copilot also rides side saddle when you are working in Microsoft Edge. And so actually, let's pop over to my screen, Michelle, if you don't mind. And then we'll take a look at what that looks like as far as I'm going to close that. So if you can see in my screen, Michelle, right up in the top corner, there's a little shield. So this little shield up here, right in the top, can I make that bigger? Oh yeah, I'm going to make that bigger. Right in the top right-hand corner, when you're logged into Copilot in your district, you'll see this little shield. And it says enterprise data protection applies to this chat. And all the types of things that Michelle talked about, enterprise data protection for prompts and responses. Our data is private, it's secure, it isn't used to train models. And so that if you click on that little more buttons there, it tells you what that means about how your use of Copilot is much, much safer if you are using Copilot. And so that's one of the things I know in my school district that we're really trying to get our teachers to do, is use not ChatGPT, but to use Copilot or Gemini in a domain logged in as you, because that's much, much safer and much more secure. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. I'll just pop that over. All right, and so we can also use Copilot in PowerPoint and some different tools there. And you can also use Copilot on your phone. You might have tried that before. So it's an app. It uses that symbol. So there's lots of places that you can use Copilot as well. Now, before we dive in and start to use Copilot and start to look at AI, some of you have used AI a little bit. And if you use Chat GPT, maybe you've had it make recipes for you, or you've said, hey, these are the things I have in my fridge. What can I make for supper tonight? Or maybe you've used it to plan a trip, or maybe you've used it to brainstorm some ideas. There's lots of ways that we use Copilot. Now, one of the things about any AI, whether it's Copilot or ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or any others, we have to remember that AI makes mistakes. AI is essentially a prediction tool. So what it's done is it's taken all of the information from the internet, and it uses it. That's what we say it trains. It's been training on that. And so look, what it does is it's looking for patterns. Here's a little test, Michelle. If I give you the letters T and H, what letter is most likely to come next? TH.
E.
E, absolutely. So there's a pattern. Now, if I have the word the, what kind of word is most likely to come next?
A noun.
A noun, right? A noun or an adjective, maybe. So those are all patterns, and ChatGPT has built those patterns. And so when it gives us an answer, every single one is going to be unique and different. It's not like it's a Google search where it's finding something that exists and giving us that. It's creating something new every single time, but it's predicting based off all of the patterns of the internet. And so because of that, Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT, they make mistakes. And when we go into Copilot, usually at the bottom in tiny little print, right underneath where you type in the box, it says, Copilot. And I think I screenshotted that. Copilot uses AI check for mistakes. I think that's something from a past version of Copilot. So it's going to warn us. But I always like to teach my teachers and my staff the 80-20 rule. And that kind of goes like this. We can let AI do 80% of the work for us. We can ask it to brainstorm. We can ask it to give us a draft. We can ask us to give it a first draft. And then we must, as humans, stay in the loop. We should not trust AI. We should not trust AI that it's given us a good lesson plan. It often has mistakes, terrible timing, bad ideas. Or maybe if you're doing a letter, right, it's going to say insert name here. And if you just copy and paste that, then you're sending out report card comments or a letter that has insert here. And those are exactly the kinds of things that we need to put our humanness into the loop. And so while we're going to look at fun ways that AI can help us out and save us time, we must remember that AI makes mistakes, and it is our responsibility to look at the work and catch it. Now, sometimes I know when I create something with AI, I'm like, my goodness, that is so fast and so good. Wow. And I'm just like awestruck with how fast something was created that I don't always think to take the time. Well, I'm training myself to do that, but sometimes it's tempting to just say, oh, wow, look at this, and not to read through with a fine tooth comb. And I can't stress enough about how important that is, whether it's in the office, in the library, in the classroom, for your own personal use. AI makes mistakes, and we must remember that.
I want to jump in there, Cami. Yep. I know you've got a great tagline. Prompting and pasting is pathetic. I might be spoiling.
I know you don't like it when I write that on the screen.
No, that's good. I think a misunderstanding or misconception is that AI is going to help save us time. But sometimes when I'm doing writing and using AI, I'm finding I'm spending just as much time refining and reprompting and redoing because AI gets it wrong. AI blatantly lies. If you're not careful, you're going to be, telling bull-faced lies and not even knowing, because AI seems very confident that it's right. But with that,
Yes. Well, and one of the things that I want us to what we want to demonstrate today and learn is that we want to push back on AI. When AI gives us an output, we want to push back and we want to say, AI, you can do better, or that's not what I need, or that's not quite right. And so as we go through today, we will absolutely take a look at that. And so we're just going to do a little high level discussion about what makes a good prompt. And then hopefully today I will be writing good prompts as we go along. Michelle can prompt me to make better prompts when we're prompting. And so that's what we'll do. So one of the things is that we want to choose a conversation style. And if we're right in Copilot, sometimes there's even little, we can choose more creative or more imaginative, depending on the version of Copilot that you're in. You can even kind of pick one of those as a level, depending on the Copilot window that you're using. And so then you can see at the bottom, instead of asking questions, like what are the 5 kinds of rock in Alberta, or, those kinds of things. We want to give it some context and give specific instructions. And so these are the kinds of things that we want to add to a prompt. We always want to tailor our prompt or our audience. So explain like you're in fourth grade, or for a high school audience, or for an audience of administrators, or whatever that might look like. So you can use age, or you can use grade level. And it also actually makes a difference if you frame it as you are talking to educators, or you are talking to business administrators, because it will pull in different, if it's an educational audience, it will use education concepts more likely. So you always want to give it as much specific information as you can about the audience that you are going for. Then you can also specify the length. Michelle, it says word, sentences, and paragraphs. And my experience has been that if it says, like I want a 250 word response, it doesn't do that as great. I don't know, counting words. You'd think AI would be really good at that. For me, that's always not the best way. But if I say write 3 short paragraphs or write 2 sentences, it seems to do better than that. Maybe we can test that later on about
I would agree. Sentences, it seems to figure out, but word count.
It doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't seem to do word count. So that's just something I've found from using it. And then we want to specify the format. And as AI tools have evolved, it's gotten more and more likely that it will give you an output that you want, even if you maybe didn't ask for it specifically. But you can say, I want a bulleted outline. I want a numbered list. I would like this in a table format. I want a diagram. I want an image. And so AI is getting better and better and better. But if you specify the format, it will do it. And if it gives it to you in bullet points and you ask for numbers, you can say, no, I asked for a numbered list. I don't want bullet points. And it'll do it again and hopefully fix that for you. Anything you'd like to add here, Michelle?
Yeah, I was going to say, so you showed some buttons that we might find in Copilot to make it more balanced, to make it more creative. Even if you don't have those buttons, you can tell AI, give me a creative summary that blah, blah, blah. So just know.
Make a summary like a Taylor Swift song. Or you can say, make a summary for a business audience, or make a summary that would appeal to high school students, right? So you can also put your audience in there, and as you're trying to get the level of formality, right? Less formal, more creative.
I think we should dive into some prompting. What do you think?
Yes. Okay. So let's go, and we're going to dive in, and here's going to be the prompt that we're going to work. We're going to push over to my screen here, Michelle, and we're going to dive into Copilot.
So I want to make sure everyone sees this, our topic. So you're going to think of a topic, any topic. So I encourage you to think of something that, in your role, you need a summary of something, or you need to give a summary, explain something. You're going to ask in 2 paragraphs and explain if you were a particular age. But I think, Cami, you're going to demo that and walk us through that. But I just wanted to make sure everybody knew we are going to Copilot and we're going to do some work. Oh, hang on. Let me get rid of that first. And here we go.
Okay, so it's Halloween's coming up, or it's fall. If you don't celebrate Halloween, we've had a beautiful fall here in most parts of Alberta. And so I'm going to say this: provide a summary of the history of the jack-o'-lantern. Explain as if I were in 5th grade. Okay, and let's say, okay, let's start with that. I've got some other ideas in my head, but we'll use them later on. Ah, interesting. Okay, so here we see my output, and it's given it to me kind of in a story. A long time ago in Ireland, people told a spooky story about a man named Stingy Jack. I didn't know this version, Michelle. Jack wasn't very nice. He tricked people. And so it goes on. And when I look at this, Michelle, I'm struck by some of the great 5th grade, 4th grade things they've done. You'll notice that it has sections. So it's put some subtitles in, and then it's used emojis. There's a jack-o'-lantern, a potato or a turnip, turnips and potatoes, and then another pumpkin there. And so at the bottom, you can see here that it gives me some suggestions. And so this is one of the things that Copilot does so well. It says, would you like a printable version of this for your students, or maybe a fun activity to go with it? And I'm thinking, well, yes, we should get both of those. Now, oops, if we look down here, it gives me some more options. Create a summary, create an outline of this for a PowerPoint. Okay. And what I want to say is let's
hold up.
Yep.
Oh, there, down at the bottom, create a one-pager version, make a slide deck summary, add examples of past events. That's awesome. I want to know, just out there, what kind of prompts are you using? Cami suggested something sort of general, the Halloween. I want to show you guys all what I did, and I'm actually kind of impressed. So Cami, if I can just steal the, and it's a little plug for Logix Academy. I said, I'm the director of events at Logix Academy. Can you give a summary of the types of events I coordinate for a group of educational support staff so they know more about what I do? Oh my goodness, it actually did a really great job. Now, this is not something I'm going to go copy paste because I haven't looked really closely at what AI thinks I do. But yeah, we do student workshops, PD for educators, district events. Okay, so you get the idea. This isn't just a plug for Logix, but maybe you have to describe what you do to someone. So that's a good example of how we might do summaries. But then I love, now we can create a one-pager. Boom, we're done. Well, of course, with some iteration. But that's awesome, Cami. Honestly, I've never done that sort of thing in Copilot, but super impressed.
So you're asking it to summarize existing material that you have, whereas I was having it created out of just the general knowledge out there. So let's go back. Are we back at my page? Let's see what mine did. So I asked mine for a printable version for Microsoft Word and activity for 5th grade. And so you can see here that it's given us a word search puzzle with Halloween words. And I can see, I can see Jack. I can see Ireland on the bottom row. I can see scary, spirit. All right. If there was words, Halloween. So turnip, what a nice way to have something specifically customized, right? Now, I know that you have lots of word searches about Halloween, and we can go into, find one in a book and probably even get one offline. But this used exactly the keywords from my printable. So think of that for creating informational texts, right? Here's something about forests in Alberta, or place names in Alberta, or phases of the moon, right? So we've created an informational text. I can go back and I can edit that, and now it's given me this version. I can add more puzzles to this activity sheet, and then up here it is jack-o'-lantern history and activity. If I click on this link, so it says this includes the summary and a mini activity sheet, drawing space, and Halloween themed word list. So that's even something new. So I'm going to just open that up.
And then Cami, that's directly then saved to your OneDrive. Is that right?
Well, it actually opened in my case. It opened in, it pushed it to Word on my desktop. So it opened in mine. It opened in, we'd have to change my sharing to view my whole screen instead of just my window. But what it did is it opened up in a Word doc. Actually, I'm just gonna, here, this is what I'm gonna do.
That's good. Hopefully those of you out there are testing this out. What I would love to hear from all of you, so you've seen Cami's and my prompts, given kind of the inspiration, maybe sort of an office theme summary, or maybe for you EAs, something for the classroom. Let us know in the chat. What was your prompt? What did you create? Were there any ahas for you? But we'd just love to hear what's happening out there. So let us know in the chat. What was your prompt?
So while we're looking at that, Michelle, what we can do now is we can come over to apps on the bottom left-hand side of our screen, and that's going to open all of our Microsoft apps. And I'm going to come to Word. And okay, I'm going to ask for a blank document. Now that file that I actually didn't download the file, but if I had, I could have uploaded into here. But this is brand new for Copilot. And just actually in the last couple of weeks, Michelle, Microsoft has announced that they are pushing Copilot for free into their main tools, Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. So this is quite new. And if you notice in the top right-hand corner, now I have to be on the home screen. Okay. Oh, bingo sheets. I love bingo sheets. And then I'm going to click on Copilot over here. And this is this other view that I was telling you about. Here is my little window. Now, I've pasted. I can go Control V to paste. This is the information that it gave me from that last Word document. Okay, so now I have a student piece here. So now what'll happen is circle the words, and I'm going to ask it here. I'm going to say, can you create a, so I'm now doing this inside of Word. Can you create a word search using the words in the list?
Okay, this is awesome. So just in case if you were heads down and are wondering where Cami is now, so just showing that we can be in the Copilot dashboard, or Copilot comes to us if we're inside an M365 Word doc, even on the web. So this
and now this is actually super important, right? So what I did is I just took this. I haven't 80/20'd it, Michelle. Now, I don't want vampires. That is too spooky. I'm just going to put Halloween in there, and pumpkin ghost. Maybe I'll get away with a ghost candy turnip witch. Maybe we don't like witches, so we want to do something for Halloween that is, let's say, a full moon. Okay, and so let's say one more. Do we have pumpkin? Oh, let's do the word jack-o'-lantern. I'm going to turn lantern into jack-o'-lantern. So I haven't taken, now I'm editing, right? I'm saying, oh, I don't quite like that. It's not quite what I want. Now I'm going to say, can you create a word search using the words in the list? Okay, so now it's using my document. It's using my Microsoft Word doc and opening that up, and we're going to get some information here.
So, and this is one you've just created for this demo, but all of you out there right now, think of the hundreds of Word docs you currently have that you may be working with. How might AI create something for you based on that Word doc? So let those wheels start turning. This is awesome.
Okay, so look at this. So this is unexpected and wrong. So I don't know, whatever, like, so I've opened it in this document, but it's reading something else. Look at this. Here are my words: customer, experience, management, framework, service, interaction, differentiation, quality. So it's not reading. Usually it will read this document. It's picked something else. And so that is not what I want at all. So I'm going to say, can you use the list of words in this open Word document? I'm going to get a little help about Halloween. Okay, let's see if it does better.
I think that's a great lesson, though. I'm never embarrassed or angry when AI doesn't do the right thing, especially when we're presenting, because that's the reality. Like, it sometimes doesn't do what it's supposed to. And that's why we've got to be paying pretty close attention and honing our prompting. So if there are any questions out there, or again, anyone else want to let us know what prompts you're using right now, let us know in the chat so we can help kind of guide this conversation based on what you guys need to know. Looks like it's going to take its sweet time, Cami.
It is, yes. So while it's doing that, let's pop back to that slide deck. And
I gotcha. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Where did it go?
I think we're this one. There we go.
Oh, phew.
Okay. So elements of a good prompt. I said 3rd grade. I said, or 4th grade. I did give it some of that. There's just a nice slide there. Remember, you have the link to these slides. That's a really nice slide that gives us some tips on sliding or slide pieces. Now, check your output. What did we just see? AI got it wrong. It has bias. It tells fibs. I don't want a spooky Halloween word search. I want something that's a little bit more friendly to all people, not get rid of the spook, right? So I can go in and I can fix that and change that up. So one of the things we're going to do now is we're going to continue in Copilot, and we are going to look at images. And so this is a prompt that I have pasted in here just as an example. And my prompt was, I'm a skilled presenter about to present to a group of educators about different ways that they could use AI-generated images in their teaching content. Provide a list of ways that a teacher could use AI-generated images with students or staff, whatever your audience is. And so this was pre-generated, but all sorts of ways that we can use images as we begin to dig in and look at images. Visual aids for complex concepts, right? So maybe it's a water cycle, maybe it is a food chain, right? AI will create those for us, and it's getting better and better. Interactive learning materials. We just made bingo cards, and we made word searches. Now, those weren't necessarily images, but we will do those as well. We could add images for stories that we write, and that's right now, today, we're going to focus on teachers using AI, and I'm not sure in your various districts, whatever your district policy is about students using AI, you need to follow that. But there will come a time, maybe already for some districts, but certainly in the future, where students are using AI for things like generating images. And that can be a really good place for students to start, because it's so obvious if it's wrong, right? If someone has 6 fingers or something just doesn't work, those are real evident.
I like that prompt, Cami, and I love that you did that. If you are an educator, those of you out there, so the admin assistants, what I just did in mine, I posted how might I use images in my role as the director of events, and like, boom, yeah, it just showed me.
What was the best idea that it gave you, Michelle?
Well, a lot I already do, like posters, flyers, banners, like promotional materials. Actually, it says like step-by-step diagrams. But concept illustrations for robotics. Yeah. So I'm curious out there, EAs, what is the answer for you? Admin assistants, what's the answer for you? We have some of you in the finance department. What's the answer for you? Where might image creation come into play? So that's a great prompt. I love it.
Okay. As we move over to images, we're going to do something that's a little fun, and it's fun to just kind of have everyone starting from the same spot. So Michelle, you need to write down a favorite place, a favorite color, a favorite career or job, and a favorite animal.
So all of us, we're all coming up with our favorite place, color, career, job, animal. Yes?
Yes.
Oh, goodness. This puts me on the spot. I'm going to put this in the chat, Cami.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
You're going to use this, or we're going to use this?
So place, color, job, animal.
There we go. Okay, so I went Hawaii, green, teacher, cat.
Okay, so again, place, color, job or career, and an animal. All right, so now what we're going to do is we are going to use create an image, right? So Copilot, you can, most tools now have a separate spot for creating an image. It used to be previously that you just had to tell it to create an image. And lots of times these tools, as they've improved, they have create an image. And then we want to be as specific as possible. Here I have an image of a frolicking black puppy wearing a bow tie in cartoon style, right? And so that's what that looks like. This is what we are going to do kind of on our theme. So in a favorite place, so in Hawaii, a green cat becomes the town's newest teacher. That's what you're going to type, Michelle.
And I need to say create an image.
Well, when you go to, okay, let's get back to Copilot here. Where's my Copilot window? When you're in Copilot, let's go back to the chat here. Sure. Yes. I mean, at this point, sometimes it'll give us, if we go to see more, actually, if you go to see more at the bottom. So I just clicked right down here. There's a little see more button. Sometimes it says draw an image, but it didn't do that right there. So what we're going to do is we are going to say create an image, and I need to see what that slide says. Let's put the thing that we're typing on there just up on the screen for a minute. I'll pop that up there. So in a favorite place, colored something becomes the town's newest something.
And image creation does take a little while. I've got mine generating right now. Create an image where in Hawaii, a green cat becomes the town's newest teacher. And then this is where I definitely want to hear what you guys are prompting. What's your place, color, job, and animal? And it is adding the final touches. And you know what I'll do? I'm going to pop over to my screen, Cami.
Yeah, absolutely. If yours is ready, let's show it.
Yeah, it's still loading. But one thing I just want to make sure that everybody knows, because it was a bit tricky for me to find. I didn't know how to start a brand new prompt. So up in the top right corner, the blue kind of, it looks like a pen and paper. That's how you create a new prompt. So if any of you missed that, new prompt. And then I put in my prompt, create an image where in Hawaii, a green cat becomes the town's newest teacher. The suspense is killing me.
Yeah, so Michelle just brought a good piece of information to us. Basically what happens is that prompt will save on the left-hand side. So you can go back and you can find something that you've done in the past. Okay. But often, like, we're shifting from Halloween. I kind of did a Halloween theme. I could have kept going because this is still mine was still Halloween related. But if it's totally different, it is great to start a brand new chat. How's yours doing there, Michelle?
Still loading.
Still
loading. Hey, and Cami, I do want to make a mention to that. Just these saved conversations. So as you see, I don't use Copilot a whole lot, but over in my Gemini, I have threads. Ooh, look at this. Hilarious. Love it. But just, I have a thread. My internet tends to go down. And so if it goes down, but this has been happening for months. So I've been dealing with Gemini to help me see if we can troubleshoot my internet. But it is great to be able to go back to these conversations I had months ago, and it still remembers, everything leading up to that. So great point. All right. Here's the image.
Okay, look at that. We'd love to know in the chat, what were your words? What was your town, your job, and your color and your animal? I've noticed a couple things about yours. Certainly a green cat. He's got a Hawaiian shirt on. The students in your chat have like the flower in their hair. My topic was a purple bat in a haunted mansion becomes the town's newest plumber.
And this as well, Cami, I want to point out, we're also looking for bias. So in my image, you know what? It's actually seems fairly representative of what we might see in Hawaii. So I'm actually kind of impressed by this. But we do have to be careful. You know, if you're searching maybe for a scientist, chances are good that's going to be a male scientist. But just be thinking about that bias. Oh, love it. Cami, did you get yours to load?
I did, yes. And you're right. Like one of the things in bias, we look for, is it male or female, for example? Those are sometimes biases because remember, it's based on everything that the internet has seen. What about skin color or ethnicity? Yes. What does that look like? So that's often where we are going as well. Okay, so there is a haunted mansion where a purple bat is taken on the quirky role of the town's newest plumber. Now, it says, let me know if you'd like to add more characters. Okay, so look at what happens here. Copilot continues to give us information. So I'm going to say add a spider that is an electrician. Okay, and we'll give that a go and see what happens. Meanwhile, while we're coming back to that, hopefully remember, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I can download it or I can copy it. So I'm just going to copy this. And I clicked on the 3 little dots here and it says content credentials generated with AI October 21st at 1:50 p.m. So I really like that it is stamping it as an AI creation. So I'm gonna take this into my clipboard, and we're gonna use that for our next step a little bit. I'm also gonna say then create a story about these characters. Okay, so Michelle, what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to apps. And what we've done here is we are going to switch over a little bit to actual creating ourselves. And one of the things that I think a lot of educators worry about is that we become so reliant on tools to write, to create, to do art, that we lose our skills and abilities, that we don't actually do the reading, that we don't actually do the writing, that we don't actually do the drawing and the creating. And so we also today want to dive in and actually give you a whole bunch of fun PowerPoint or design skills that you can do. Now, we're going to design in PowerPoint today. These are also very transferable to Canva. If you're like everybody else in Alberta, you also love Canva. And there will be lots of different ways that we can go about that. So I'm just going to leave this to brew in my main Microsoft chat window.
Before we jump,
Yes.
I'm not sure if I'm spoiling a future activity that you have. Something that I just did on my side, I wanted to turn my image into a coloring page, which I feel like that's a great application. That being said, my coloring page is kind of gray, so I have to fight with it a little bit. But I do know.
Show us what you have.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, so this is something I was kind of excited, like, oh, this would be great.
Can you show us your screen?
I will. I am just trying to find said screen.
Okay, while you're doing that, I have to run and get a piece of paper.
Oh, perfect. So is this it here? Let's just see. There it is. So this was the first one, and it was kind of a light gray, which I think we could color. But then I said, no, can you make it less shaded, more of a black line master? Okay, and it was even worse. So this is one of these examples. Like, I know AI can do this for me. I know it can create coloring pages, but I'm working a bit too quickly, and I'm going to have to refine this to get that coloring page out of it. So
Yeah.
wonderful. All right, Cami, where are we
Okay.
going next?
So let's go. Well, let's actually make a stop in our deck, and let's just make sure that we haven't forgotten anything. Copilot ideas. We're going to switch away from Copilot in general into PowerPoint, but here's some ideas. Classroom setup checklists, or checklists for the canteen that you have to run for the basketball team. Event planning. Copilot does excellent event planning. I have to plan for a tournament. I have 5 weeks to do it. What are all the things that I need to do starting 5 weeks out? And it will give you a plan, and you can, say, oh, this needs to be more specific, or give me a list of this. It's awesome for giving us a scaffold for event planning. And often we know those things in our heads, but we do the things and we like, oh, it'd be great to have a list of writing those things down. So I had it for next year. We can start with Copilot and get that list and then modify it. And so what I'm finding is it's helping me provide the documentation for things that I just never would have gotten to before, because it was just too much time to create documentation. And now I'm finding that AI is really good at helping me create documents to support the things that I've always done. Bulletin board ideas. It does again, it'll give you the plans for a Halloween party coming up, or a Christmas party, if that's the next party that we actually have. And then it'll send a parent letter, and you can give all the it will do all of those pieces for you. Create games. It'll make a craft list for you, do all sorts of things around a party, for example. So we are going to dive into Copilot. This is a video on this slide that's just from the last month or so. So if you're really into Copilot and what's latest, this is a YouTube video from a guy named Mike Tollefson, who's like the educational YouTube Copilot or Microsoft champion. So I just wanted you to be aware of that if you wanted to learn more. Now,
and Tammy, I just want to point out, so that was on slide 30.
Slide 30, good.
Yep, slide 30 in Cammie's presentation. And yes, Mike Tollefson, awesome presenter. Any of his stuff is super cool if you want to learn. So definitely double recommend check out that video.
And we'll have lots of at the end of our session, lots of links, and he's in some of the future learning materials for sure. So we've already dabbled a little bit with Word and Copilot, and now let's take a look at PowerPoint. So a couple ways you can get to PowerPoint. If you're logged into Edge, in the top right-hand corner, you might try those three little the apps launcher, we call it, or sometimes the waffle. If you click on there, you can get to Word or PowerPoint. If you're just on your basic OneDrive page, you can get to PowerPoint and go to create blank slide presentation, or in our, what I'll show you is from my Copilot page, I'm going to go down to apps on the right-hand side and go there. So those are some ways that we can get there. Now, when we get into the tool, and I showed you this in Microsoft, we're going to be looking in the top right-hand corner from the home screen. Now, what often happens is people are like, I can't find that Copilot thing anywhere. And it's nice and pretty. It's got those, that rainbow of colors, but you have to be on the home page. So those are some different pieces that we want to take a look at. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come back here. So
you want to go back to your screen share?
Let's go back to my screen share.
Perfect. And while, just this notion of using Copilot as like your home base, this is something brand new to me. Like, I can see how now Copilot that's just my main page on my browser. It gets me to everything I need to get to. So yeah, by design, obviously, from Microsoft, but that's where I jumped into PowerPoint from, was right from Copilot. So you want everybody in a blank new PowerPoint?
Yeah, so let's go back we'll go from chat. We'll show you how to get there from chat. So from the chat, then, let's run that down. I'm going to come to apps, is one of the quickest ways to get there. And now I'm going to come into PowerPoint. Okay, and so I'm just going to go now. PowerPoint has an incredible template gallery. There's all sorts of templates, but friends, I want us to be able to create from scratch. I think there's a lot of importance there. So I'm going to go create blank presentation, and it's going to open up a new PowerPoint for me. Okay, now when we look at this screen, what we'll see is it doesn't have our Copilot button over here on the right. It's opened up Designer. I'm just going to close that for right now. Michelle, do you remember where I need to click to get that Copilot button? This is a test.
Derp. Cami.
Okay, you need to click on the Home button in the tab. So if I click on Home, now I can click on Copilot, and that will open up the Copilot window on the right-hand side. And so that'll sit over there if I need a creative spark. But before we do that, I've got my Copilot scene that I copied, and delete those. I'm going to Control V to paste my bat in there. And a couple of things happen. You'll notice one of the things that Microsoft PowerPoint does is if you look at the bottom of my bat image, it has created automatic alt text, alternative text. And so alt text is so important when we're designing things because it tells a screen reader what's in that image. So if people are low in sight and they're using a screen reader and they can't see the image, it automatically created alt text. A cartoon of a plumber holding a plunger and a wrench. And let's say I wanted to say a cartoon of a bat as a plumber holding a plumber and a wrench in a haunted house. Okay, so it gives me some information, and then I can always edit that. All right, so now I'm going to close that. And what happened over here is when I create, let's go back to home. Actually, it opened up. I had design, and what happens if we put an image in is it creates, it often will open up this little designer tab. Okay. And so the designer tab is really interesting. If you look at the right-hand side, what it's done is it's given me a bunch of designs. Now this doesn't look very striking because it's just an image. So you can see one has a white border, one has a white line at the top, the bottom, this one has a green border. So this isn't super striking. So we're going to add some text to make this a little bit more interesting. Okay, so I'm going to close this.
Oh, Cami, I'm your student that can't seem to keep up. My designer.
Yep.
I don't have anything in my designer. So
you have it. Okay. So that's because you have to have a picture or something on your page. So
I did, I pasted my green cat.
Oh, okay.
There. So it should just be there. Maybe
it needs something to work from. And so if you don't have maybe the right type of image, or maybe it's not reading it, let's keep going and see.
Okay.
See what happens. Okay. So what we're going to do is, let's say I'm going to say, I'm actually going to not write about bats a whole lot. We're going to switch over to pumpkins or to jack-o'-lanterns. And so I'm going to make, let's say I want to create a 4-slide bullet point history about jack-o'-lanterns. There we go. Let's do a sixth grade audience. Just provide text, no images. Okay, so we're going to ask Copilot to give me some slides. Now, what I can do is, in the paid version of Copilot, which most districts in Alberta don't have because it's in the neighborhood of $20 to $30 Canadian per person per month. So I'm going to imagine that most of us don't have that version. If we had the paid version, we could just insert straight over into the slides. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go File, Home. I need a new slide. So I'm going to click on Home, and I'm going to ask it for a new slide. And I'm going to get one that has some text. And then I'm going to make another one. I'm going to duplicate the slide a couple times. Okay, so click on the slide on the left, duplicate. So I've got a couple empty slides there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy my information, paste it over here. Okay, I kept the formatting. We'll slide that down. Okay, so I could have a whole bunch of slides about my jack-o'-lantern history. Okay, now.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to put some of my context over here, and then
ultimately inside PowerPoint,
yeah,
it can generate the slide text, but you have to manually paste it over.
In the free version, that is my understanding, yes.
Okay. And then the other thing I did have an example that says, hey, do you want me to update the current presentation? Which it did, except it just gave me a downloadable file with my updated presentation. So still kind of a little bit of manual work I'll need to do.
Yes.
But it's great to know.
Okay. So that didn't come in very nice. I wonder why it changed the format there for me. Okay. So I'm gonna paste some of my information in here. There we go. I will make this bigger I'm not going to take time to format it right yet. We're just going to have these pieces in. Oh, and actually I don't want it to say slide 3. Okay. So now I'm 80/20ing it, right? I'm tidying this up so it looks a little bit more human. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to Insert and the top ribbon. And in Insert, I'm going to go to Pictures, and I'm going to go to Stock Images. So Microsoft PowerPoint has a vast array of images that we can choose from. So I've gone to Stock Images, and I'm going to say pumpkin. Okay, and so I'm going to pick, so there's jack-o'-lanterns, there's just pumpkins. I'm going to pick this one right here, these colorful pumpkins. Okay, it was really big. I'm going to pull from the side corner, not the side, the corner. Now, watch the right-hand side of my screen. Boom. Designer popped up.
That's okay. Incredible. I get it. So now I'm following. So you went to Insert Images, huge database of images, and then based on the image and your text, like Designer then designed your slides for you.
Yes. So then I can pick what I would like that to look like. So there's all different kinds of, let's say I want to go with this one. Okay. So when I click on that, it automatically will design that. Okay. And so we could go through with the rest, and it's nice to kind of keep the theme so that we always have that white swoopy side so that we don't have a mishmash of themes as we go through there. You'll notice this one, it gave me image along with my text, but it didn't actually give me the same pattern. So I just did what I said not to do, with a different piece. Now, what had happened is if I had had my own image in first, then it would have given me the same library of images. But because it was thinking of making an item for me, then I didn't quite get the design pieces that it gave me in as much detail. Okay, Michelle, I'd like us to do a little more in the personal creation bit. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to come to home and I'm going to click on new slide again. Then I'm going to turn off the designer.
Oof. I want to just double check out there just to check in, see how everyone's doing. My designer it took me creating brand new slide, repasting my image, but now my designer is working and it's incredible. But I just want to make sure out there, if you're having trouble with designer, try creating a new slide, put in some images. But yes, definitely take a moment to check out that designer feature because it's awesome.
Yeah, so that's certainly one thing that we wanted you to. Now, here's the interesting thing about AI, Michelle, is slide deck designer has been around for way before generative AI. So Microsoft was using AI to create these slide designs before November of 2022 when the generative AI world broke open. So lots of these tools have been using AI to do these kinds of things as well. What we're going to do now, Michelle, is I've got a brand new blank slide. So to get a blank slide, I went to home, new slide, and then just a blank slide with nothing on it. And we are going to do some of our very own creation. Okay. And so you might even want to, I don't know, Michelle, maybe you want to add some of the steps in a banner. That might be a way to do that to help people keep up or to follow along when we're doing this. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm on my blank slide. I'm going to go to Insert and I'm going to click on Shapes. And then I get all these shapes in a window and I'm going to click on an oval. And I'm going to click an oval that is the size of a pumpkin. Now, you'll notice I happen to have a blue pumpkin. So Insert tab, Shapes, and then we're going to pick an oval. Now, I do not want a blue pumpkin. I want an orange pumpkin. So with the oval clicked, I get a little toolbar that pops up. And I'm going to click on the thing that looks like a paint bucket that says Shape Fill. Ooh. And I'm going to pick an orangey color. Now, I don't like those oranges. One's too light, one's too dark. So I'm going to click on More Shape Fill Colors. And now I'm going to pick just the perfect orange for my pumpkin right up there.
Something that just happened to me, Cami, if you click in the shape and it's waiting for you to type text, you don't get that menu that Cami's showing.
Okay.
So if you don't see the menu, just click outside of your shape, click it again. And now I have that menu. So I just
Okay, good.
that.
Yes, it's in PowerPoint. It can be tricky to get the right menu to pop up. So thanks for that. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is the third icon gives us an outline. And so I'm going to do two things. I'm going to pick a black outline. I think it actually already had that. But now down here under weight, I want it to be a little bit bigger. I want it to be a little thicker of a line. Weight. I can't seem to get more than 4.5. It's off my screen. We'll just leave it. Now, what I want to do is I want to make this into a pumpkin. So I'm going to click on my design and I'm going to right click and if I click on my design and I go Control D or Command D on a Mac,
duplicates it.
I get a duplicate. Okay, and so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of make it go like this.
Got it.
Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate. So click on the shape, Control D, duplicate again. Oh, nice. Control D to duplicate, and I'm going to squeeze that in a little bit more.
I thought you were going to show us some magical AI feature that's going to turn this into a pumpkin, but this really, you're just looking at this.
Yeah. So actually, Michelle, I'm at this point, I'm done with the AI, right? Like we've done lots of AI. I want us to learn some skills.
Sweet. Love it.
Okay. So we've learned about shapes. We've learned about changing size. We've learned about duplicating. All right. We've created an outline on the outside. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to start in the bottom corner. I'm going to pull my mouse up to the opposite top so everything looks selected. You can see all those little dots on my screen. And then when I right click, I'm going to group that. So that's another great skill. So now when I move the thing, it doesn't just take one of my ovals, it takes all of my ovals. And then I can make it bigger or smaller, or now watch this, Control D again. Now I can have a baby pumpkin. Ooh, and now if I wanted to, I could probably also turn that pumpkin into, maybe it's like a light colored. Oh, it didn't get them all. I could change the color of the pumpkin, right? So I could do lots of things like that. So we can start to duplicate and change things up. So I kind of have a white pumpkin. Now our pumpkin needs a stem. So we're going to go back to insert, back to shapes, and I'm going to get a trapezoid. So it's under basic shapes, about the fourth column. I'm going to draw me a little trapezoid. Oh, my trapezoid is blue again. So I'm going to click off it, click at it, and then I want a dark green stem, maybe. I'm going to twist it just a little.
And this is great. Remember, everyone watching, you can come back and watch this recording.
Yes.
But something like this big aha that hopefully is hitting some of you, especially the administrative assistants, anyone that works in graphics. Maybe you've used Microsoft Publisher back in the day. Maybe, you're trying to use Adobe. PowerPoint can do a lot of that design work that we used to do in Publisher. We can also change the shape of our page. So it's an 8.5 by 11 page layout. So yes, I love this, Cami, that you're just showing just tips that we might not think of.
Yes. And so Michelle, you're so right. These are great tips for students. Students love these activities where they're designing. And, you might think, well, I'm an admin assistant. Why am I doing art? Why am I making pumpkins? This is like paint night, or this is like, when you think about when you're designing in a PowerPoint, or if you're designing images, you can make a flyer. You can change the page size to 8.5 by 11 and create an image. Think of it not as like a Halloween scene, but we're learning some design skills. So for example, right now, my stem of my pumpkin is sitting on top and I want it to go to the back. So I've selected it. I'm going to right click again, and under layers, actually, that's not the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to go arrange. That's a little simpler. And I'm going to go send backwards. Oh, it didn't work. So arrange, change order, send backward. There. So now my stem is behind. And I could group. If I wanted to group that stem onto the pumpkin, I could group those together again so that I keep losing them.
All sorts of different ideas. But Cami, in the interest of time, we have 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yes. So I want to do like 3 more little design things.
Perfect.
And then we're going to look at all those resources we have.
Sweet. Awesome.
Okay. So insert. Let's go back to shapes. Let's give our guy some traditional eyes. Those eyes. Let's change the color to black. So I want the fill bucket. Oops, not green. I want black. And now I'm going to use that Control Duplicate. All right. And then I'm going to go Insert and Shapes. And I've done a couple things to make a mouth. Sometimes I've used like a moon, and then I've used the trapezoid to make teeth, or actually down here under flow charts. I've also kind of just made a mouth like that. So now we have a mouth on our pumpkin. All right. Now we can do some other things if we wanted to. Let's say we wanted to add, make a little bit more of a scene. So insert again, shapes. I'm going to add a moon. Make it yellow. Okay, we could add some clouds. We could add stars. Let's add just a couple stars in here. So insert shapes. A couple of different kinds of stars. I'll just add some of these. Now I'm going to change the color first, and then I'm going to Control D to duplicate a whole bunch of times, move those around. And then one last fun thing that we can do, Michelle, is we can change the background. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click off on my slide so that I don't have anything selected. Except it's stuck on that star there. Okay. And if I go to design, so this time instead of the insert tab, we're going to the design tab, and all the way to the far right, there's background. Now I could add a solid fill, so I could add like, I probably wouldn't pick orange. I would pick something else. I could add like a spooky purple if I wanted, or I could also add, this is my favorite, insert picture. And I'm going to go to stock images. And I'm going to go night sky. I probably can't go too specific there. So I could add a night sky. Ooh, maybe this one with the big, oh, that's an eclipse. That's not the one I want. Let's do this kind of spooky looking moon.
Oh, nice.
And I'll get rid of my moon.
Nice.
Oh.
No, you'd have to group.
Do you see what I did there? I forgot to group everything together. Yep. So you can see why you want to group. Okay. So there we have an image, and we've created a background. We've moved some pieces around. I need to group that all together. But we have just learned so many slide tools. We've learned how to change a background. We've learned how to make borders on our images. We've duplicated, we've grouped, we've changed the layers front to back. So we have just done so many skills in a 10 or 15 minute art and design piece. Your students will love doing this for Christmas. Think about, instead of watching a Christmas movie or, you know, doing something where they're just passively sitting and getting, what about a design where they design a Christmas tree forest, or they design cute little Christmas gnomes or a reindeer or all sorts of them. So you can find some of those online. Lots of different people have created those online. I've done lots of those that are online. Sometimes around Christmas at Logix, we do some design work like that. And so just some fun ways to create. So Michelle, I see you've got us all geared up to look at some resources as we head home. And we're going to just go.
Yeah. And so Cammie's slide deck is just filled with awesomeness in there. A couple of the tools we didn't quite get to. So that reading coach, we won't have time to jump in there. Or are you going to give a...
Well, no, reading coach, actually, I thought we probably wouldn't, but if in case we did, I thought we had. Designer.microsoft.com used to be a tool that you could only use outside of your school. But I've noticed recently that now you can also, all it does is AI design, AI images. And so Copilot does all the things, it writes stories and all that, but designer.microsoft.com is now available inside your domain, and it is for creating things. And so lots of fun slides. If in fact, you could just keep working through this deck if you had more time that you needed to do some learning, and you could do lots of learning in there, creating cards, all sorts of things, brand kits. Now, we want to leave you with some other things that you can do. So besides the reading coach section and the Microsoft Designer section in the slide deck that you got today, we have a section that has a whole bunch of learn more about Microsoft AI products. Michelle, do you want to put the learn link in the...
Yeah, you bet. So learn, we'll throw the link in the chat. So many self-paced courses in there. Cammie's going to show probably just one or two, but yes, I'll put the link to Microsoft Learn right now. What else you got for us,
Okay,
Cami?
so Learn Microsoft. So what happens in Learn? You can log in, and they have all these different pathways. So you can see here, there's like an intro to AI. There's AI and Copilot. There's all sorts of specific AI and Microsoft courses that you can do. Some take 45 minutes, some are a little bit longer. When you log in, you get points, you get badges, you get all sorts of things. So that's lots of learning paths in Microsoft Learn. You can also learn about the learning accelerators. Those are super fun as well. Reading Progress and Reading Coach are ones that students, basically the AI listens to them read and gives feedback. So that's a whole nother exciting topic, especially if we have just an EA crowd to do. This is another one. And actually, I think this one, if you scroll down on the Learn page, it's there. You can also click on that AI Classroom Toolkit. And it is a big document that has a whole bunch of ways for using AI in your classroom with students when the time is ready to do that. So Microsoft has some pieces there, but remember, you should only use AI with your students if your board says it is the thing that you can do. Microsoft also has these incredible quick guides. And so the link in this slide deck, Michelle, if you maybe want to pop that in the chat too, has quick guides for almost every Microsoft product available. There's a quick guide for Copilot. There's a quick guide for PowerPoint and Word. And those are for the MS365, the online version that you find. That is Microsoft Learn again. So remember, those are self-paced courses. So you start, it gives you little check boxes as you finish some. There's videos, there's things to read, and then you can just keep going back and forth and finish as you have time. Sometimes I don't get back to it for another month, and it's like, oh, or sometimes even 6 months later, it's, oh yeah, I already started this one. I've got a little bit. Let's finish it off. So they are great places to learn.
I love the ones that I've actually completed and I go back and
Yes.
I'm like, what? I already did this. Awesome. Well, hey, this is where maybe I'll jump in. I mentioned it earlier. I thought maybe I had this linked, but I mentioned it earlier. Really, we cannot continue to do this work
I'll put a link
for free unless we continue to get our funding from Microsoft. Honestly, it'll take you 30 seconds. If you can go ahead and fill out this form for a certificate, you can either scan that QR code or there's the link and the workshop title, Microsoft Copilot and M365 tools. Whatever you put for your workshop title, that's what's going to be on your certificate. So if you want to say, for support staff in that as well, absolutely go for it. But that is the link, and we appreciate you taking the time to fill that out. We have a whole minute left for questions. Those of you out there, if you do have any last minute burning questions, let us know in the chat now. You can also email us at events. I'm going to put it in the chat at logicsacademy.com. If you need any help with anything, and especially we are hoping the strike does not last too much longer, but you have this time now that you can be learning and building. And if there's any way we can support you, be sure to just reach out to us. Anything else for the good of all, Cami?
Well, I just hope that we've given you some information about AI, how to use it safely, given you some ideas of how to use Copilot. We've tried to give you all sorts of ideas of things that you can do to create text items, lots of images. We've used it inside of Word. We've used it inside of Copilot. We've also given you some, I'm going to say, old school design skills, right? How to do things without AI, because that is important too. And so we hope that you've learned at least one new thing. As you're signing off today, we'd love it if you put in the chat what was one new thing that you enjoyed learning today. That's always helpful for us so that we know what the aha moments were for you.
Aha for me was, that Copilot is the hub. I'm going to look a whole lot closer and maybe shift on over. But wonderful. Thank you guys all for being here. Cami, thank you as well. Be sure to check out Logix Academy's website. We do have a lot of free programming thanks to our partners, but we do hope to see you in another workshop soon. Cami, I know I'll be seeing you again. Thank you as always for your awesomeness. With that, we will say goodbye.
Right. Make sure you get the website or the deck from today.
There it is. Perfect. Fill out that form. All right. Take care.